Hey everybody, it's Blaise here, and I want to talk a little bit more about TVPaint 11. And today, for those of you that like to draw on paper, I've got some methods to show you about how you can bring traditional animation into TVPaint and play with it there. So what I've done is I've gone ahead, it's just a few drawings, I've gone ahead and done 5 drawings of this cat moving his head up. And did it with pencil on paper, excuse me, and I've scanned the drawings, okay? The one thing you want to make sure you do, if you scan your drawings, make sure that you name them sequentially, and I'll show you why when we get into this. So after you've got your drawings scanned, let's go ahead and jump over here, and I'm going to show you how to bring them into TVPaint. We're going to come up to File, and we're going to go to Open Import. Click on here. I'm going to go to my desktop, which is where I saved them. And you'll see that I've got a sequence of drawings right here. Well, I'm going to click on the first one. But you'll notice that from the naming convention, they're all named sequentially. All I need to do is click on the first one. TVPaint knows to pull them all in. I'm going to go ahead and click on Load. And you can see for my mark in and mark out, I've got 1 and the mark out is 5. So it's brought in all 5 drawings. But you'll also notice that it's not oriented correctly. So we need to change that. So you can see right here, there's a rotation. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And boom, you can see it's rotated just the right way. Everything's oriented right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit import and the drawings are there. It's that simple. Very, very simple. So if I scrub through here, you can see we've got all 5 drawings and it's animating. Now, there's a couple of things that you'll notice that aren't right. One is I've got a little bit of noise in there as far as the image goes. The other thing too is that they're still white images. They're not clear. You can't see through them. So what we want to do is I want to highlight all the drawings first. So I'm going to click on the first drawing, highlight them all, and then I'm going to come up to Image and come down to Basic Scanner. Now when I click on the Basic Scanner, what that does is it goes through all of the drawings and it gets rid of all of the white pixels. So now I have clear drawings. You can see through them. So if I put a layer underneath, I'll be able to paint, I'll be able to animate another layer, whatever. You can see through that layer. All that we have on top are the dark pixels, okay? So there's that. Now the next thing that we want to do is I want to make sure that they're registered. You notice how they're kind of bopping all over the place. They're not, if you look at the peg holes, you can see that they're not sitting all in one place, which is what they're supposed to do. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and highlight, just like so. I'm going to come up to Windows, come down to Animation, Peg Hole Registration. It's very simple. And I'm going to go Set Peg Positions, and I've got these red boxes that will come up. You can move them around just like so, and what I want to do is I want to put them right over these pegs. You can put them over any peg basically, and it's going to pull those pegs as long as they fall within that box, and it's going to register them. So I'm going to set that there, and then I'm just going to go ahead and hit Apply. And so now, very quick, and you can see how quickly that works. Now, as I go through, everything is registered perfectly. So now the animation works great. See there? So the next thing we want to do, now that we've got everything set, I want to go through each drawing because I want to show you how we can paint them very quickly. But we can't paint them until we close off some of the lines. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my pencil, make sure I got the right setting. I'm going to go a little bit more gray with it, not so black. I'm going to hit 0. And I'm just going to close off some of these lines, okay, like so. Come down in here, we'll close that off. I'm going to look at areas that I think the color might be able to leak out, so I'll go in there and close that off. I'm basically just coming through and just cleaning up a little bit. Now you can see this is a rough drawing. So it doesn't have to be perfectly clean. There's still a lot of sketchiness to it, but I want to make sure that I'm just closing everything off so that the color will stay within that drawing. So I just go through and just clean things up just a bit here. It doesn't take long. And one of the things I really love about this, about scanning the drawings like this, is just kind of keeping the integrity of that drawing on paper kind of feel. There's something very cool about that. I know there's a lot of diehards out there that don't want to animate digitally, or don't want to don't want to animate on a computer. And you can still retain this ability to draw and animate at your desk on paper, but you can bring it into TVPaint and you can do all kinds of great stuff with it. As far as importing scenes, you can color, you can cut your movie together, you can do whatever you want. All right, so we're getting there. Got a couple more drawings. Just gonna go ahead and close these off. There we go. There, that feels pretty good. And the last one, once again, this line down at the bottom, that would be out of the field. That would be out of the camera. So we wouldn't actually see that line once the shot is done. So everything's pretty much cleaned up. We hit 0 to go back to seeing my layers. So when I scroll through, you can see I've got everything cleaned up and closed off. So now I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to create a color and texture layer. So we're going to click on that, and you can see that because I started with the drawing layer, the color and texture layer uses the drawing layer as the reference. So that's what it's locked to. So it automatically gives me 5 drawings matching the 5 drawings that I have there. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab a color. Let's make it like a cougar color. All right, and I'm just going to come in here and draw a line, and boom, it colors instantly. It's done. Go to the next drawing, and we're colored. Next drawing. See how quickly this goes? We can come into some of these little areas like this. It goes very quickly. Here we go. And just like that, we've got all the drawings colored. Now, if you don't, you can see the lines that I created in order to paint. You can turn those off, just like so, by hitting this little icon underneath the thumbnail right there. You turn that off, and now everything's nice and clean. So just like that, we got everything colored. Now maybe you want to go in and hit a couple of details. Well, I can go in and make it a little brighter. I can grab a different color, and maybe let's go ahead and I'm going to go back to the first drawing. Actually, second, third. Let's start with the third drawing. I can come in here and we can color. Let's just color the eyes, just like so. Now you can see that right there, it spills out. You see that? So what I would need to do is come up to my animation layer, come back to my pencil, and come in here and just quickly close that off. Come up here, close that off. There we go. I can do this and close that off right there. See that? And it automatically fills in that color when I go back in and close that line off. And now you can see we've got everything filled in. I've got one more drawing right here. Let's go ahead and just fill that in. Fill that in. And now we've got the eyes colored in. You can see how quickly you can go in and you can color a scene. Lots of fun, very simple. For those of you that are diehards and don't want to leave the paper, you can still use TVPaint. It's very, very helpful. Scan your drawings, bring them in, and you can have some fun with them. So that's it's very simple, it's very easy. That's how you take your drawings, scan them, bring them into TVPaint. You can register them, you can color them, you can clean them up, you can have all kinds of fun. So go ahead and try that. If you've got TVPaint, you've got some paper, go ahead and try doing some hand-drawn animation and bringing it in. You can have a lot of fun. And the other thing you can do, let's say you want to sit down I've done this in the past. You sit down and you just want to do your keys on paper. Well, bring those keys in, scan them, bring them into TVPaint. Then you can sit down and do all the in-betweening. You can do the timing. You can play with it. You can do whatever you want. So anyway, experiment with it. Have some fun. I'm going to go ahead and start animating myself. So until next time, have a good time, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.